Out of Wonder by Onomonopia. Chapter 15. The Good Doctor. Well, for our first class, I had to say that I'm impressed with each one of you, Diana said to praise the students. The response of the 4 kids in her class was to groan, sigh, or make a noise at her that she chose to ignore. Now, I want all of you to get ready for class. We have a long day ahead of us. You're all dismissed. Diana just chose to ignore how quickly the students rose from their chairs and raced from the room, each of them grumbling to themselves as they stalked off. Diana smiled at each of them as they passed, but none of them made eye contact with her. Save for Rainbow Dash, who cast Diana a glare before leaving the room. Diana waited until they closed the door to her room, heard her footsteps fade away before she put the owl resting beside her at once. They're gone. You can speak now. Your students have to be the most ungrateful, ignorant lot that I've had the misfortune to watch over in a very long time. Athena snarled as she flapped her wings in anger, or hopping across the desk to Diana's lessons. With all their grades so low, you'd think they would be grateful you're taking time out of your own day to teach them. But no, they gripe and complain and see you as the villain. I do not know why you bother. Because I enjoy teaching. Now then, have you done as I requested, my guidance? Diana asked. Athena nodded before her eyes began to glow with divine power. Diana quickly checked outside of her door to make sure that no one was around before she sat back down and closed her eyes, feeling the divine power washing over her mind. She could feel her consciousness traveling across the plane of existence, traveling to a place she had little knowledge. I must warn you, Diana. I cannot keep this open for more than 5 minutes at the most. Whatever it is that you wish to say, you must say it quickly. Athena's voice spoke to Diana's mind once she felt the power settling down. Diana nodded before stretching out her consciousness to another, conscious whose power she could feel, even on a mental level. Dr. Fate, are you there? Diana asked. She heard the sound of someone talking, followed by a few other voices, before the consciousness she was seeking turned its full attention to her.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Dr. Strange. I'll go get Dr. Fate for you.
Okay, sorry about that, Dr. Strange. I was looking for the wrong person.
That's alright. It's no problem.
Wonder Woman, is that you I hear?
The voice of the doctor said with Diana's mind.
I have been subjected to many mental tasks over the years, but I will admit the conversation we are having now is new to me.
That is because I am using Athena's power to speak to you. I'll say quick, as I do not have much time. What I must tell you first is that I want the more magically inclined members of the Justice League to keep an eye on Hades while I'm away. He is up to no good.
That we can do. But Diana, where are you? All we received of your whereabouts was a cryptic message from Athena. Is something the matter?
Hades is up to no good. He is trying to steal a magic that will grant him power. I'm going to make sure that he doesn't. I can handle things on this end, but I need to make sure he doesn't try anything else in our reality.
You are currently not in our reality?
Diana. Right. I do not have much more time, so I'll make this one quick. I'm looking for someone dangerous.
Isn't searching for Madman Batman's specialty?
If they are from our reality, yes. But this creature is not, at least in my knowledge. All I can tell you about the being is wear a brown coat, is almost completely metal, it likes to talk in triplicates, and also, it possesses a power that I've never faced before. I need you to hunt it down.
That I can also do. I can sense our connection is almost up. Before we part, Diana, know that you do not need to do this alone. We can help you.
Dr. Fate said. Thank you, Fate. But I've dealt with gods all my life. I can handle this. Not to mention there is another reason I stay here. A personal one. The condenser to the doctor then snapped when Athena's power burnt out, causing Diana's eyes to snap open as she returned to her world. Upon returning to her reality, Diana discovered Sunset Simmer sitting in a chair across from the teacher's desk with a look of curiosity on her face. Greetings, Sunset. What can I help you with? Diana asked as she taken a moment to recover. Why are you sitting in a room talking to yourself? Sunset asked with concern. Because I was speaking with a member of the Justice League about some of the problems that you and your friends have been dealing with recently. Diana informed her student, while also standing up and gathering together her teaching supplies. If there is anything else you wish to ask, please tell me as we walk. I have classes to teach soon. You know, this does make me wonder, who would win in a death battle? Dr. Strange or Dr. Fate? Alright, so I went to the library and did as much thinking as I could on the gods, Hades in particular, Sunset said, outside in the hallway, while the two walked to their classes. Diana raised an eyebrow as her student as he reached into her backpack and pulled out dozens of pages of notes, including his full history, most interpretations of him, and why he would be so desperate for our magic. And I'm starting to think that. Thank you, Sunset, but you did not have to do all this for me, Diana said. Of course I did. This is also my battle, and I want to help you any way I can, Sunset said with determination so strong Diana knew it would be pointless to try and fight it. With a wave of her hand, she allowed Sunset to continue speaking, though after a few minutes of listening to his take on Hades, she found she couldn't listen to it anymore. So, what do you think? Sunset asked, snapping Diana back into the real world. The teacher shook her head before glancing down at her student, who was waiting with a huge smile for what the teacher had to say. Diana pondered what she had heard for a moment before deciding to answer with a question on her own. First, allow me to ask a question of my own. Have you girls been doing your sleepovers like I requested? Diana asked Sunset. Yep. They seemed puzzled why I was so insistent that we have them so often. But I got around that by telling Pinky that the fate of our friendship also depends on sleepovers, which it does, and none of us can refuse Pinky when she's at her best. So for the past couple of days, we've all stayed at each other's houses, Sunset informed Diana before her face fell slightly. I just wish I could tell them the full truth. Sunset informed Diana before her face fell slightly. I just wish I could tell them the full truth. You'll be able to in time. I asked my fellow Leaguers to keep an eye on Hades in my world, so hopefully we'll have not any issues with him anytime soon, Diana said. But we may have other issues, Sunset muttered before cursing at the lasso. I'm worried that some of the people at our school might figure out that you and the woman that rent the park downtown are one and the same. It wouldn't take a genius to figure it out. How do you figure that? Diana asked. It's so obvious. New teacher shows up and has incredible ninja moves. Woman shows up and kicks the crap out of a zombie. Wouldn't be too hard to at least suspect, Sunset whispered, only talking when none of the students or teachers were closer to. Speaking of, you should have seen the comments freak out when the video of you fighting Grundy got posted. Everyone was certain that the zombie apocalypse had begun. Trust me, I have seen the zombie apocalypse and it looks nothing like that, Diana answered her. So, what does it look like? The zombies were far more black and have rings. Now then, I believe that it's time for you to get to class, while I also go find out whatever is causing this feeling. Leaving Sunset in the hall, Diana headed towards whatever had just made herself known to her presence. The stations brought her from the halls of the school to the entrance of the building. This is an odd sensation. It is not like Hades' magic, nor the magic of Sunset, but then what? Diana got her answered when she walked around the corner of the school to find one of the new students from Crystal Prep standing in the center of a large demonic symbol while muttering dark incantations under her breath. Diana's eyes wandered for a moment before she raced forward and snagged the girl by the back of her coat. Am I finally going to get that Wonder Woman versus Bible Black crossover I've been dreaming of writing? Agatha let out a yelp as she was torn from the symbol, which Diana made sure not to break by wiping away a part of it with her foot. Hey, what's going on? Agatha cried out while struggling against her captor. When Diana moved to the girl to compete face to face, resistance died as Diana seemed to shrink in Diana's grasp. Agatha shrink in Diana's grasp. I could ask you the same question. I assume you knew full well what you were doing, so instead I'm going to ask what in the name of the gods were you thinking? Diana scolded with a look of fury. By her surprise, Agatha's face seemed to enlighten the rage Diana held. Then there is magic here. It took a considerable effort for Diana not to show any reaction to Agatha's words. By that point, the student was in her own world. If there wasn't magic here, that you wouldn't be reacting so strongly to an attempt to access the power of the dark arts. Therefore, enough. You just stated yourself you were trying to conjure black magic. Diana cut the student off, taking the reins of the conversation once more. Aside from being both futile and idiotic, what could possibly possess a young girl such as yourself to even resort to the dark arts? You wouldn't believe me, Agatha said with a sneer. Try me. Diana shot back with a cold stare. Fine, but first put me down. After Diana did as the girl asked, Agatha flipped open the book she carried with her and showed a page to Diana. This is what I was trying to do. A book on how to channel the power of the dead? Diana whispered to herself, hiding the horror of the fact that a girl would be holding such a book with a cold glare. May I ask why you have this with you? You seem to be an intelligent young lady, so I assume that even if they are considered fiction, that zombies are a bad idea. Because I want power, Diana. A power that only a demon or the dead can grant me. Agatha replied as she brushed back the black hair out of her eyes. What do you want this power for? What do you think? To be powerful, to no longer be looked down or seen as a freak. Agatha replied in a tone that was cold as the underworld. Diana looked down at the student for a long minute before sighing and shaking her head. Agatha, what you seek is not power. What you seek is to be accepted. Do not look in the mirror and hate what looks back. You seek the approval of others. Diana warned the girl as he placed a hand on her shoulder. Agatha tried to shake the teacher off, but Diana's grip was not easily broken. You do not have to seek out others' approval to be happy. You just have to accept yourself. Accept myself? Agatha asked. Accept myself? Agatha asked with what sounded like a half and a half a gag. Accept a goth freak that gets made fun of for... There is nothing wrong with who you are. Don't let others say that about you. Make what you think any less of yourself. Diana cut her off again, because there is only one you, no matter what anyone says. You're quite a unique individual. Diana hoped her words would help the girl, but seeing the look she was being given, Diana figured she would have to add a little more. Agatha, do you want to know the true secret to being powerful? Diana asked Agatha, whose eyes lit up for a moment at the question. It is to accept yourself, accept your potential and who you are. Because once you are free yourself from those doubts, you'll have a power that none can take of you. Accept my potential, Agatha muttered. Diana smiled and replied before turning her head towards the school as the sound of the bell ringing drew her attention. It seems that I have missed first period. Oh well, another thing I will have covered for me, Diana muttered with a shrug as she glanced down at Agatha once more, was pondering the teacher's words. If any of the teachers ask where you were, simply tell them you were with me. I will back you up. And also, Agatha, please take my words to heart. I know that some may not believe it now, but you hold a strength inside you. All you have to do is accept it. Diana, Agatha asked, getting the teacher to stop before she could leave the student alone. Answer me this one question. When you were talking with me about black magic, you called the demons and the magic foolish and spoken of in fiction, but you never denied it yourself. So if you're completely being honest with me, answer me this. Is there magic in school? Diana gave her student a long, contemplative look as she pondered over her answer, torn between keeping the secret of the magic safe and being completely honest with those who trusted her. Diana forced herself to make a decision. Not the same magic you believe in, but yes, there is magic in these halls. Diana then walked back into the school before Agatha could ask any more questions. Her hurrying leave prevented her from seeing the thin smile Agatha wore on her face. So, there is magic here. Only a teacher knew it, you knew it, so you're magical yourself. Not to mention that ungodly strength of yours that you are so fast. This semester just got a lot more interesting. After all, not many students say they were taught by a zombie-seeing warrior. I bet my boss would love to hear about this. Chapter 16. Unholy Alliance. Hades gazed into the pits of hellfire that burned beneath him, pleased by the sounds of Grundy's soul as it screamed in agony. Yet the god quickly grew bored with the sounds of the immortal suffering, and turned back towards his throne with a small sigh.
This is what I get for sending such a brainless fool
such as Grundy, to try and convince Wonder Woman to do what I asked. I could not believe I thought it would work. I was truly beginning desperate.
Hades strode to his throne, into the portal to the other world that rested beside it, holding out his hand towards the vortex of magic. Yet, just as it had done many times in the past, a burst of rainbow magic blasted his hand back and prevented his entry.
What to do now? I could send another soul of the damned, but there's no guarantee that they will yield any greater results. And even if I do send one of them now, Diana has shown that she would rather fight to the last breath than allow my minions to claim their magic. This is truly a dilemma.
One that you can easily avoid if you think, ponder, plan. Hades turned his head so he could glance over his shoulder, spying a being that was standing behind him, covered in a brown cloak, and had a hole punched through its chest. But you are a fool, a moron, a god.
And clearly, you are no wiser since you insult me in my realm.
Hades spat back with brimstone in his voice. The creature didn't seem impressed with Hades' rage, and walked up beside him, touching his hand to the vortex, and changing the image to that of the students Diana fought so hard to protect.
But your appearance here intrigues me, so I will stay my hand until I learn what it is you are here for.
I am here for her life, the creature replied as it focused the portal on a girl with red and yellow hair, but Diana prevented me from claiming it. So, I came to deal with the god of the dead.
Then you are the fool I had believed, for I need that girl alive, so I can have the magic she possesses within her.
Hades informed the being, who paid the god no mind as it moved its face closer to the vortex. Far closer, Hades noticed that the vortex never allowed him.
But it seems while you're a fool, you possess something I cannot. You can enter their world, can't you?
Have my words not made that clear, you arrogant ass of a god? The being snapped back. Hades would have killed for that insult, but curiosity stayed his hand a little longer. But though I hate to admit it, you could do something I cannot. You could slay the infernal spirit of truth. I cannot best her, at least not this version of her.
So it seems we both need each other, if we are to both get what we want.
Hades mused before waving his hand, summoning forth hundreds of souls.
Very well, Beatty. I will make a deal with you. If you aid me in securing the magic of those 6 girls, then I will personally slay Sunset Shimmer myself.
Hades extended a hand after saying this with a smile, yet the creature under his cloak stared at his hand for a long time before nodding in reply. Very well, Lord Azed, since I can see no other option that would benefit me. Actually, I can, but it would change this world so severely it is not worth it. I shall work with you, until I no longer have any need of you.
How curious. I was about to say the same thing.
Hades quipped coolly with a toothy grin.
So then, partner, may I ask what our next move should be? I have thousands of souls that would slaughter an entire world to be free of death. Which of them do we need?
We need none of them yet, you idiot. Did you not see what Grundy did? It put the Amazon on guard. She will be on the lookout for anything that is a threat. And with that owl of hers, will not be able to take her surprise like before. The creature ridiculed Hades, whose eyes blazed with fire, with that he fought to keep from consuming him. No, for the time being, we must watch. Wait. Plan. Perhaps we will see a chance to attack. Or perhaps we will find one that we can get to work for us. But patience will be our ally. Hades nodded in agreement. Once the creature faded out of existence, for letting out a snarl of fury. He took a moment to calm himself, while staring back at the hundreds of souls he had summoned. A flick of his hand sent them all back into the abyss from whence he had called them, save for the one he had called to his side. He grabbed hold of the soul and gazed down at it for a smile, taking in the soul as black as the greatest evil that he held in his clutches.
Very well, creature. I shall work for you for now. But when the time comes for another of my citizens to pay Diana a visit, I know who it shall be.
A zombie? Is that what they are calling the creature that appeared downtown?
Sabra asked before throwing his head back and laughing at the top of his lungs, ignoring the looks of annoyance the other teachers gave him.
Please, zombies are nothing more than stupid stories that authors use to make a quick buck.
As usual, Sombra, your opinion is valued, Cranky said with a roll of his eyes. Forget the zombie. I want to know more about the woman who fought it. Shirley says she glanced down at her phone, bringing out the image of the woman standing across from the zombie. According to reports, she was incredibly strong and can even fly. Do you all know what this means? They're not going to be able to go on the internet for a while without hundreds of people freaking out over her. This could be the world's first super being. I mean, aside from Sunset and her friends, of course. Shirley whispered as she gazed at the teacher's lounge at Diana, who seemed far too absorbed in her book to be paying the three any mind. This could change the world. Don't bank on it. Most are calling it a hoax, while others are saying it was simply another online video. Saba remarked while he gazed down at his own phone and raised an eyebrow. Since there were only eyewitnesses and no cameras to catch the battle, aside from what the phone did, a hoax seems to be the general consensus. What's your opinion? Cranky asked Sombra, who rolled his eyes in response. So, you don't believe that a woman in strange attire fought a zombie in the middle of downtown? Please. The only superwoman in this world is sitting over there listening in on us. Now, could this be real? Sure. But until I get more concrete evidence, I'm going to chalk this up as one of those weird magical things that happens around here, and leave it at that. Sombra's eyes shrunk slightly when he spied Diana rise up. He became fascinated with the ground when the teacher walked over to their table, pulling up a chair and sitting down next to the others. Now, how did you know I was listening in? Diana asked Sombra. Instead of answering, Sombra chose to focus on the owl that landed on the center of the table. Sombra, Diana repeated in a tone that made his spine shiver. Please explain to me. Because there's only so many times a person can read the same page before it becomes clear they're not reading the page. Now, excuse me, I need to go somewhere where I don't fear for my well-being. Sombra snarled before rising up from his chair and storming out of the room. Well, since you were listening in, what do you think, Diana? Shirley asked the teacher, while showing her the image on her phone. Diana gazed down at the fuzzy image with a blank face, feeling the other two's eyes upon her. Is it real or a hoax? It's not a clear image, that much is certain, Diana muttered under her breath. Well, Shirley, I've heard tales of strange things happening around the school. Perhaps one of these strange events poured out of the sea? So you think it is real? I believe it could be real, but I'm also sure that if it is real, it means something serious is going on. Diana said in a tone that made the other two teachers lean in closer. Could I ask the two of you to do me a favor? What kind of favor? Cranky asked with suspicion. If either of you sees anything out of the ordinary, please tell me about it as soon as you are able. Diana asked the pair of them. Both Shirley and Cranky stared at her for a long moment, with Diana gazing back into their eyes to try to read what they were thinking. Then, something seemed to clink on Cranky's eyes, and a moment later he nodded. Alright, Diana, I'll keep you out of something strange, Cranky promised, before elbowing Shirley. I think we should do it, Shirley. If what I heard is right, then some of our students almost got hurt by that creature. We need to communicate with each other with us to keep our students safe. Sure, Cranky. I can do that, Shirley agreed with a confused smile. I'm grateful to the both of you. Now, if you excuse me, I have a student that I need to go meet. Diana said as Athena hopped onto her arm. Diana then rose and exited the room, fully aware that both of the teachers were giving her strange looks as she left. They suspect you, Athena informed Diana. They are suspicious of me. I do not believe they suspect me, Diana replied, turning the corner down the hallway to see Boulder ripping the doors off the lockers and gazing inside. And speaking of suspects, Boulder, what are you doing? Diana yelled. The giant student let the head snap towards Diana, his eyes streaking under her glare. He turned and began to run for his life, but barely got 5 steps before Diana had a hand on his shoulder. You can't run from me, Boulder. Explain to me what you are doing, and maybe you will avoid my fury. Diana voiced the student, whilst gazing behind her, seeing the numerous other lockers had been ripped open. Crystal couldn't find her locket. She figured someone had stolen it, Boulder stammered out, keeping his eyes glued to the floor. Despite being nearly as tall as Diana, he didn't dare look at her in the eyes. He was afraid that her gaze might turn him to stone. So I figure I'd find it for her, if another student did steal it. For the love of Hera, Diana muttered under her breath, before glaring at Boulder, shrank under her gaze. To detention with you, Boulder. Find Summer's classroom, and if Crystal has something stolen, tell her to talk to a teacher about it. Better yet, send her to me, and I will deal with her. Diana shook her head as the boy walked away, turning back towards the exit once he was out of sight. First Agatha, and now Boulder. How much do you want to whisper I'll be having trouble with Crystal before too long? Diana asked her owl friend. That would be an unwise bet on my part, Athena replied. Diana said farewell to the students that were still in the entrance of the school, before she headed to the front doors to find Sunset sitting on a guardrail. A smile crossed the student's face when she spied her teacher. And after hopping off the rail, Sunset raced towards Diana. Hey Diana, how did the day go? Any magical attacks or old foes returning from the dead I need to know about? Sunset asked in a whisper, while she gazed around to make sure someone else was listening. No, Sunset, nothing like that happened. Aside from Twilight's experiments nearly blowing up the science classroom, it was a quiet day. Diana responded before gazing over her shoulder, as a rainbow dash standing in the doorway with narrowed eyes. Diana raised an eyebrow at her, before motioning her to join them. Dash smirked in response, before she let on a skateboard near her feet and raced away from the school. Sorry about that. Dash has been upset that I seem to be spending more time with you than her, or any of my other friends, Sunset admitted with a small sigh. I wish I could tell them that I'm not avoiding them, that I need to learn how to fight. Soon you'll be able to tell them, I promise. Diana promised her student, as the two headed into a secluded area that Diana preferred. In the meantime, simply focus on your studies and training. I also like to recommend that you do make time for them. I do not wish for you to waste all your time with an old lady like myself. Now, is Diana talking to the story, or is she talking to Sunset? Old, Diana, nearly every girl in this school is jealous of how you look, Sunset said with a laugh before she gazed in the distance. Hey, Diana, if Hades does send another of his lackeys here to try to get us and you fight them, would you mind if I fight you? No. No, you don't mind? No, I don't want you to fight with me. Why not? The best place to get to experience the fight is 1. You're not ready for actual combat. 2. I am teaching you how to fight so you can defend yourself if I am not here to protect you. Diana cut her off with a powerful tone, and the Sunset immediately set up. 3. The kinds of creatures Hades might send are far beyond anything you've seen. I would not risk your safety like that. But you won't always be here to protect me, Sunset muttered, but Diana was fully able to hear her. Diana placed a hand on Sunset's shoulder to stop her. The young girl gazed up at Diana with an apologetic glance. I'm sorry, Diana. I just want to prove to you that I'm learning, that you aren't wasting your time teaching me. I have never believed I'm wasting my time or my teachings with you, Sunset. Never let yourself think that. Diana calmly replied to Sunset with a warm smile. And while it is true that I will not always be here to protect you, I promise that when I leave, you will not need to worry about either Hades or your nightmare causing you harm. I do not doubt your abilities, so I do not wish to risk the life of my student when I do not have to. Now come. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to break limbs. This is a lesson you want to focus on. Sunset nodded, before the two walked down to the grassy field and took up positions from each other, both of them wearing smiles on their faces as the next lesson began.